Hi, my name's Evan Mersereau. I'm in year 1.5. I'm hoping to get an honors degree in English with concentration in creative writing. And this piece I've written was included in my final portfolio for creative writing skills for Professor Andrew Titus. It's a creative nonfiction piece based on a really lousy day I once had in elementary school. This is not exactly what happened, so if somebody sees this, recognizes me and thinks, well, that's not what happened, we were 10. That's my excuse. We were 10. That was 13 years ago. Memory's kind of, not great for stuff back then. And it's only just meant to be taken as a story and not like a documentary or an anger piece or anything like that. So that's stupid talk. Are you ready to begin, Michael? Dr. Dittman always begins each session by saying that, though I've stopped trying to prepare myself for these days for a while now. Every Thursday I leave his home feeling broken and confused, but by the next week I feel confident that there isn't anything wrong with me. There's a saying about insanity and repetition that I've been advised not to indulge in. We go through the motions like professional dancers, but I'm always surprised that I can't pick myself up when the act ends. I sink a little further into the massive couch he has for visitors. It sags under weight like it's letting out a big sigh. When you picture a psychiatrist's office, what do you think of? A tiny leather couch, maybe a matching pillow, and a reclining chair in a secluded room full of books? Well, aside from the books, Dr. Dittman was not the sort for stereotypes. One might mistake the decor of his office to be lavish, but really it's just very old. Very comfortable, though. Every object in the room, and even the room itself, creaks with age. I polish off the pennyroyal tea his daughter has graciously prepared, swallowing the last of my confidence past the familiar nervous lump in my throat. She's really nice, even if she's only wearing her smile because it's her job. It doesn't matter how good her tea is. It can't cover up the acrid stench of burning dust that permeates the room. With a deep breath and a weary sigh, I resign myself to the next hour. It only gets worse from here, but maybe today won't be so bad. Okay, I'm ready. When we last left off, you were talking about your childhood. As I recall, you didn't enjoy elementary school very much. Was there anything specific that you didn't enjoy? It wasn't quite June, or maybe it was just past May. Either way, it was miserable out, but we were still forced to go. The same shrill reminder came up every day at announcements for at least a month. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. This is a reminder that every grade 5 student must attend from Makona Elementary School's track and field day. It always rained on track and field day. My shoes were already soaked through from the long walk up the hill to the high school at the top. It wasn't a torrential downpour, but a steady drizzle, like leaving the tap on just ever so slightly after taking a shower. Not so bad at first, but it built up enough to piss me off all day as it gradually seeped through my clothes. We were the French immersion students, but track and field day was one of the rare occasions when we and the English students were corralled into a joint venture. It was pretty much the only good part about it. I couldn't stand most of my classmates, and all of my friends were in the English class. Between events, I would march over to them across the murky marsh of soccer pitch. We weren't actually allowed to compete with the English class. That would make sense, and the school is clearly no place for sense. We in the French class had to speak French, even when we were with the English students. We mostly ignored that rule until our teachers were within earshot. Could you tell me how you were different back then? Do you think you've come very far since then? His questions caught me off guard. I've been talking for so long that I've forgotten where I am. Not an atypical occurrence during these sessions. Well, I guess I wore a lot of loose-fitting clothing, lots of track pants and t-shirts because they were comfortable and easy to wash. My hair used to be a big mop of bed tangles because I would shower at night before bed. Also, I still wore Velcro shoes because I couldn't get the hang of tying shoelaces. I didn't learn how to tie knots until that summer. That's perfectly understandable, Michael. Motor skill issues are just a part of growing up on the spectrum. I really wish he'd stop saying that. Spectrum disorder, ASD, Asperger's syndrome. I don't like hearing that I grew up differently than everyone else, even if it explains all my weird tics. So why this day? Why not the other track and field days? There was a fight, I say with uncertainty. You got in a fight? No! It was an innocuous question, but it elicited a more tempered response than either of us were expecting. No, I say more calmly. It was someone else. A teacher and another student. And I wouldn't really say it was a fight, actually, but they had a violent exchange, I guess. Tell me about them. Dr. Dittman hides his curiosity well, but I know him better now. There's something he's seeing that I'm not, and I don't think I like that very much. Well, as bad as I thought I had it, there was another kid who was having a much worse day. This kid was different. He sat at the back of our class because he didn't have any friends, or at least I never saw any. He has an obsession with cartoons, and he never stopped talking about them. Like, he didn't know how to talk about anything else. I tried to be nice to him because it seemed like no one else would. He also wore the exact same running clothes every day. He had a very particular thing with touching, and I get a sense he didn't like tight clothing or rain. Nylon pants and t-shirts can get very uncomfortable to wear when wet. The mesh inside the pants soaks through given enough time and it gets clingy. I've never seen someone more profoundly uncomfortable than he was standing in gym clothes in the rain. How would you describe him, Michael? Like a smash cut in a movie, his words bring me crashing back to the present. Normal, I suppose? I've tried not to think about it much. Normal? Normal how? I don't know. You just looked... Did he look like you, Michael? Such a strange question, yet I feel it pierce through my chest like I've been caught in a lie. Yeah, I guess he did. This is what Dittman does. He can make you feel as though you're under attack with a calm and measured voice, and suddenly I'm on defense. I mean, that makes sense, right? We were all dressed in track pants and t-shirts. It was basically an entire day of gym class. Can I get back to the story now? Of course, Michael. I'm sorry. Please continue. I saw him just standing in the middle of the field. He was arguing with someone until our teacher came over to try to reason with him. He looked perturbed, like he'd witnessed a murder. I tried not to stare, but I could hear him screaming like a crazy person. His voice clung to childhood as hard as possible as puberty was starting to creep up. It cut through the chatter of students, the rain, the whistleblowing, and all the hungry mosquitoes buzzing around our ears. I'll kill everyone in this field if you don't get me out of the fucking rain! I flashed back to when we were in the 3rd grade and he walked up to the teacher's desk and slammed down on it, shouting about quitting school. And he did it too. He just left in the middle of recess and went home, backpack and all. It didn't last more than a day, but he did it. He always meant what he said. I remember feeling something snap inside my head, and then the English teacher grabbed my arm. All the anger drained out of me, and a gut-wrenching sadness just took its place. I sobbed uncontrollably, barely sputtering a few words. I just want to go home. Yeah, that's crazy, the teacher said. That's stupid talk. Come on! And then he dragged me off the field. Michael, are you aware you're no longer talking about the other boy? Why am I crying? Why can't I stop crying? Michael, what's wrong? Can I go home now, please?